you stop because that's not cool. I'm not doing anything wrong. I want your tanks in mine. For 4 minutes and a half, which means we have means we lost 20 minutes. Hi. Handlebars, you wanna fly. Hi. It's gonna be a long night, but we're gonna do it every single time. Now I don't really care because right now I have 100 to upload. So even if I can do this, I just have to write in the description or in the title. Sorry, technical issues. I want your things in mind. It's not a big deal because we're recording elsewhere, but then you're setting yourself up, right? It's like setting yourself up in the studio if you're an artist, or having a painting, and you're thinking after a painting, and you paint, and it's not your greatest work, but you're still painting, right? And then you realize that, oh, well, this is magical freaking paint that is temporary, and because the date on it expired, the painting disappeared, right? So like, okay, well, I still have memories of what I did, I still have some copies of what I did, but it's not the same thing. Like when it's dark out, October will cure me. I'm walking these rooms and I'm 30 or 13. Not asking for much, man. Thought maybe you'd call me. I spend my trap just to see if you mourn me. Yeah. Want your things in my room. I miss you all the time. Put myself on the internet. Again, ooh-la, because that's good. You gotta pay close attention. And when I close, I close. All of the time, you make it through legendary skill. That's what's up. That is what's up. Okay, that's good. That's good. We're just waiting for the food to come. I think something for the mukbang is actually pretty cool. What is the trick for the mukbang? The trick for the mukbang is it's not necessarily motivation, but it's change of purpose, a change of motivation, you know? And the bars you wanna fly. What you repeat? You said repeat content. I know, but it's something that is in my mind right now, right? And I could talk about something that is not in my head. I could talk about something that I'm not even a part of. I could talk about the rise of the lesbian culture in the 40s because the men were at war or working, and people were lonely. But in the same era, am I lesbian? No. So am I gonna talk about it? Probably not. Is that okay with you guys? Is that okay? Right? There is something interesting with the culture, with the peer pressure the culture. There was this dude, right? And again, I'm gonna say something that's very offensive, but this dude was very woke, very into the culture of very not actually feminine, very relaxed, very chill, painting nail, the whole shazam, right? And my dude did a video where he was eating steak for the first time, and he started crying. And he's like, "This is so good." And then you see him a couple months after that, and his demeanor completely changed. You know, more boyish, he dressed more manly, I guess. No more painting nails, right? So he became sort of. He completely changed because he was so in a culture that wasn't his, or that wasn't not meant to be his. that when he came to him, he was like, dude, this is not me. This is not who I want to be. This is not who I represent. And I gotta say, shout out. One of my favorite content creator is Ricardo Avocado. And Ricardo Avocado always was ever respect for what he did. Ricardo Avocado had this, he was a vegan. And most of his followers, most of his viewers were vegans. My room, I miss you. And then what happened was, he didn't, how can I put this? He didn't believe in it anymore. And I feel like I'm talking about against vegan. I'm not talking about vegan. You can do whatever you want. However, there's blind following, there's blind doing things, and there's understanding, right? So, for example, understanding that I became a vegan because I saw a movie where there's a slaughterhouse. And understanding that not every single slaughterhouse is inhuman. Not every single slaughterhouse is a place where monsters are born, you know? You understand that? It's the tower. Hey. Right? So then you're seeing a documentary that is, of course, realistic, but it's dramatized because of the fact that it shows a specific, right? For example, talk about a war, right? You talk about thousands of people killed, right? Which is very sad. But then you're showing places, or better than that, you're showing touristic spots, right? Where you're saying like, oh, well, people here are very poor. They need your help. But then you move a couple kilometers away or 100 kilometers away, and people live in a city and they have jobs and they have sort of normal life, right? For example, if you take a country that has barren land, that doesn't have rain a lot, that has pretty dry soil, and you make them farmers, chances are they're not going to be successful, right? And that sucks. That sucks, right? And it's just shitty because you're portraying a certain situation, which is not true. You're portraying a certain culture as needy of help when most people are doing just fine. And is it okay with helping people? It is okay to help people when you're aware of the situation. If I know my neighbor has a little bit less than me, right? If I know my neighbor has a little bit less than me, and I want to help him, I can help him. If I think my neighbor is poor because he told me he was poor, but it's not true, then I'm getting to somebody that's lied to me, or misrepresented a situation, which is not good, right? You all of the time, I stalk myself on the internet. So then you're underaware or hyper aware of bullshit, and then because of things like that, somebody that was going to be helping, someone who's going to be helping, isn't going to help. I had an interview, right? Can't believe I'm going to tell the story. I had an interview for one of the crosses, the blue cross, the red cross, I don't remember, okay? And your job was to stay around Subways, not Subways the sandwich shop, but Subways the public transport. And you had to have donation, and you had to get donation, right? And you'd ask donation, you'd ask people for their name, for how much you want to give, right? And you talk about the situation, the issues, and then, which was all good and dandy. You had a salary, right? You had a salary, and then Rick Gervais did that on his shows. And it's like, you don't really care about this situation. You're getting paid for that. But I needed a job, and I was like, you know what? That's service a clientele, which is a French customer service.